Ukraine's parliament set to ratify its new deal with the United States this week, granting America priority access to its minerals and establishing a fund investment in Ukraine's reconstruction. The agreement comes after months of tense negotiations. They nearly fell apart, if you'll remember, after Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky visited the White House in February and it ended in disaster. But now Ukrainian officials are touting the deal as an equal partnership between Kyiv and Washington. Ukraine appears to have convinced President Trump to drop some of his key demands. But on the U.S. side, the deal fails to offer specific security commitments Ukraine was seeking. It also does not call for Ukraine to reimburse the United States for the aid it has already received. Experts point out that while the deal does strengthen Ukraine's position, it doesn't necessarily bring the war closer to an end. Peace negotiations with Russia appear to be stalling as Moscow remains defiant against a 30-day ceasefire agreement that was proposed by the United States and agreed to by Ukraine. Meanwhile, the devastating war keeps raging. A Russian drone attack on Ukraine's capital overnight. At least 11 people are injured, including 2 children. Joining us now to talk more, Deputy National Security Advisor Ambassador James Jeffrey. Ambassador, great to see you. Thanks.
Hi.
So we're going to go ahead and first listen to what President Trump said on NewsNation this week about that mineral deal. Listen.
You got the deal with Zelensky on the minerals. That means the United States is going to have a presence in Ukraine. Is that going to inhibit Putin, do you think?
Well, it could, but the reason I did that is that we're in for $350 billion or close to it, whereas Europe is only in it for $100 billion.
All right, so we get some of our investment back.
I wanted to be protected.
So help us unpack this. Now that the United States has invested in Ukraine in this way, what kind of leverage, if any, does this do for Kyiv in the peace negotiations with Russia? Does it help them to try to end the bloodshed?
Thanks for having me on, first of all. It certainly does strengthen Kyiv's position because it, in a way that's unique to President Trump, links the administration with the support for Ukraine's future as an independent state, not under the thumb of Moscow. As Moscow's overarching goal is to end just that, this is a blow to Putin. On the battlefield, he hasn't done that well, despite huge losses. And this is going to push him, and we've seen reporting over the weekend on this already, towards at least considering a real ceasefire and some kind of diplomatic solution. So I'm more upbeat than I was a week ago.
Right. So Putin gave that 3-day ceasefire proposal, and Zelensky essentially called it a theatrical show. And as Russia continues to refuse a 30-day ceasefire, you know, this is what's being offered right now. This is what they've said they'd do. And then Zelensky said, no, not for us. Here's what retired Marine intelligence officer Hal Kempfer says about Trump and Putin's relationship currently, right now.
President Trump clearly is realizing the relationship he had in his first term with Putin is not the relationship or the real relationship he has now. And that's kind of being incorporated into this. He's realized he's going to have to do something much more direct to move the dial, certainly with Putin. And he seems to have a much better rapport with Zelensky, which I think has changed the whole relationship in terms of how this could come about. But I think we're going to step back, use those measures, and see if the two parties come together.
It all feels like a bit of a roller coaster, but Trump has been accused of cozying up to Putin for sure. What do you think about his relationship with the leaders of Russia and Ukraine right now?
I think that he has, as our Marine colleague just pointed out, strengthened Zelensky's hand. Trump correctly, just like Kissinger and Nixon before him, knows that you can't simultaneously negotiate with an evil totalitarian aggressor and also call that person out for his evil and for his aggression. You have to deal with, without passion, without moral argument, and that's what Trump is doing. It hasn't worked. And that's not a big surprise for those of us, as I do, who have dealt with Putin. He's very tough. Trump has dealt with him. Trump, I think, will take it as an article of faith that he has to stand up to President Putin as he stands up to other people. And so Trump will reinforce his support for Ukraine. We've already seen supports today of a Patriot unit being moved from Israel to Ukraine. This is the kind of thing that will catch Putin's attention.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.